Welcome to Enhanced Due Diligence. Enhanced due diligence is required to be completed when a customer has been identified as a high risk through the screening process. The regulations require accountable institutions to establish a client profile for high-risk clients. You may hear people referring to such people as PEPs or politically exposed persons. They don't necessarily have to be in politics, however. Simple identification and verification will not do with high-profile individuals. Additional information must be obtained. This may mean requesting additional documents, such as bank statements, vouchers, or travel itineraries. Enhanced due diligence requires us to ensure that we understand all possible risks of doing business with such people. Enhanced due diligence needs to be undertaken only after you have done the normal processes, such as getting the KYC, CIV information and supporting documentation, which has been received in line with the requirement. The screening process has been undertaken and the customer has then been identified as high risk. The risk factor determines whether additional information should be required. The higher the risk factor, the more information is necessary and the more detailed verification is required. A business relationship may require greater verification than a single transaction because the former will normally carry a greater risk. Naturally, in some cases, the reverse may be true. The additional documentation obtained must be adequate to reasonably enable the institution to determine whether transactions involving a client are consistent with the institution's knowledge of their client and the client's business, and must include particulars concerning the source of that client's income or the source of funds which that client expects to use in concluding a transaction or the various transactions in the course of the business. Possibly, you'd need to appoint a relationship manager for this client. You'd have to obtain additional information and documentation regarding the identity of this client, and you'd have to obtain ultimate beneficial ownership information for any business entities. You would have to obtain additional information and supporting documentation relating to the customer's source of funds or source of income. And for politically exposed people, you'd have to undertake a search of publicly available information relating to them. You would have to obtain senior management sign-off for approving the establishment of the business relationship or its continuation. And finally, you'd have to ensure ongoing maintenance of the customer information and monitoring any activity on accounts. Understanding the customer source of funds and source of wealth are important aspects of client due diligence, and this is nowhere more true than in a relationship with a politically exposed person or a PEP. Who is a PEP? Well, any person who has or has had at any time a prominent public function or who has been elected or appointed to such a function in a country. This would include heads of state or heads of government, senior politicians and other important officials of political parties, senior government officials, senior members of the judiciary, senior military officers, and senior executives of state-owned body corporates. Any immediate family member of such a person, including a spouse, partner, parent, child, sibling, parent-in-law or grandchild of such a person, any close associate of such a person, including, and this is without limitation, which means there is no upper end or lower end to it. That's a person who's widely known to maintain a close business relationship with such a person, or a person who's in a position to conduct substantial financial transactions on their behalf. So an instance of this in South Africa would be Jacob Zuma's relationship with the Guptas. So let's summarize what we have learned. A business must always carry out enhanced due diligence when it's required, but first they have to carry out the normal customer due diligence. PEPs will always require enhanced due diligence, and a person who does require enhanced due diligence will probably need to have ongoing monitoring of their accounts. I hope you've enjoyed this module and that is giving you a better understanding of how enhanced due diligence works with regards to money laundering. I'll see you in the next slide when we are going to have a look at what a suspicious transaction actually is.